Good luck on the run.
Hey, welcome everyone. My name's Mikami, and I'll be doing a speedrun of The Legend of Zelda. Oh, jeez. Ocarina of Time. I've got my buddy Aggie on comms with me today, so Aggie will be filling in whenever I'm in like deep, focus mode, which hopefully won't be too often, so I can give some details about the run. But yeah, welcome Aggie.
Thank you.
So the category I'm running today is called Defeat Ganon, no SRM. Now, us speedrunners are really bad with naming things at times because SRM is really confusing as an abbreviation. But what it effectively means is we can't do like crazy amount of memory manips such that it allows us to effectively write code as we play the game, because that is theoretically possible with Ocarina of Time. Now, you could play the game and almost write code as you're playing the game, so then you just do a bunch of random movements and then next second you're at the credits. So we don't do any of that in this category, so that crazy form of memory manip is not allowed. And defeat Ganon because they just thought, let's just put an objective, so the goal is to defeat Ganon. So first thing most people notice is that I'm playing the game in Japanese. That's purely because of text speed, because in Japanese you can say more for less. So what you say in Japanese can be said quicker than what is said in English, and every character appears as only one frame. So if you think of, so that's pretty much the only reason we play in Japanese. I'm also playing on a Wii, so I'm playing on the Wii Virtual Console version, purely for lag stuff. But also, there's a trick that I do in this run that I'm pretty sure doesn't work on the Nintendo 64 version because of, like, stuff.
For memory crashes, the N64.
Yeah, it actually crashes, so they have to do, like, a crazy different setup. Another funny thing is that recently in the speedrun community, it was put to a vote that we could actually skip this intro cutscene. Which is good for us runners, because this intro is 2 minutes 53 seconds long, and every time you reset, that's 2 minutes 53 you have to sit there just watching. So it means we can get runs done quicker, but I figured for the sake of a marathon, it's good to just see it from like start file to the end. So shout out to everyone who donated to the file name Chris Pratt. Ironically, that actually makes the run slower, because ideally Link's name is one character, because every time Link's name pops up, if it's more than one letter, then that's X-Men in like some frames lost. So if my file name is 8 letters, which it is for this one, every time Link's name appears versus just one letter, I lose 7 frames, which for a game that runs at roughly 20 to 25 frames per second, adds up pretty quick if you see the file name a lot.
Thankfully, you don't see it very much here.
Yeah. So the first bit of the run, we're just going to go collect the Kokiri sword and a Deku shield just so we can get into the Deku tree, and that's where all the crazy shenanigans are going to happen. So Saria says hello, and we're just going to ignore her, which is pretty sad because she's like one of our best friends in the game. You'll notice that I also do a lot of backwalking, side hopping, and rolling, and rarely any walking forward as it is. That's because Link's movement speed walking is actually the slowest out of all the other forms I mentioned. So depending on which direction we have to go, we'll be doing a combination of that stuff. So this is the maze where the Kokiri sword is. Now, normally it's better to like do your rolls and stuff, but because this maze is kind of like a box shape, it's better to go along the cardinal directions. The maze is laid out in only in cardinal directions, left, right, up, down. So in that case, it's better just to side hop and back walk. So we get the sword, and then we make our way out to go get the shield. But there's also a few rupees on the way we want to collect. So there's one there. Because we need 40 rupees in order to buy the Deku shield. And yeah, just some... Oops, not that. Oops. I didn't mean to do that, but alright, all good. There was meant to be some movement there where I got to that sign very, very quickly, but my target input got eaten, so whatever. So that's the first glitch we kind of do called bridge clip. There's a certain height at which when Link hits the apex of his height, we buffer a jump slash, we do a jump slash, and then the game's like, okay, Link's kind of this high now, and you're touching the underpass of the bridge, we'll just clip you up. So it saves us from going all the way around the roofs and doing like the the other bridge bit.
So the fun thing about that is it's not really a clip because there's no collision on the underside of that bridge.
That's true, yeah. And so now we go towards the Deku tree. Mido is like, no, but he's like, oh, we have a sword and a shield, then all right, I'll let you through.
Yeah, I guess he can protect himself, I guess.
yeah. So I need to get 2 Deku sticks here for later, so I'm just going to pick these guys up. And then here we're going to do a little cutscene boost, hopefully if it works. This will be good. So what normally happens is Link just kind of walks his way in, if you just kind of walk your way in. But if you delay it by doing a side hop jump slash, because Link hasn't appeared on screen yet, the game's like, hang on a sec, he needs to be here. So we'll just kind of guess where he's meant to be. And then so as a result, you just keep all that momentum going. And it's actually a little bit faster because it puts you ever so slightly closer to the Deku tree. I like doing it just because I think it looks funny. Like he's meant to be, then all of a sudden he's on screen, like, you know, Sonic style. So yeah, the reason I'm backwalking here is because if the direction you want to go is a straight line, if the distance is 4 or more rolls, it's better to turn around and backwalk. But if the direction you have to go is kind of curvy, you're better off just what's I'm looking for? Rolling. Okay, so here is a trick we're going to do called quick put away. I actually can't remember how exactly this works, but what's going to happen is, if I've done this right, there we go. It acts like we've got a stick on fire, because, okay, sure. And then here's where hopefully some black magic happens. That's good black magic.
The best kind of black magic.
Yeah, so what I'm doing here is pause buffering, which is trying to advance the game frame by frame, because there's a very specific frame I have to hold up on. This one. Okay, so what happened there was, I think as I grabbed the vines coming down, I wasn't holding down on the analog stick, which is fine. I just climb back up and try it again. When I get to that bit, Aggie will chime in on what this trick is actually doing. So I'll just try this again. Next frame. The world-class runners, which I'm not, they can probably do this. They can do this without buffering like I am, but I'm a baby, so I do what I have to do.
Hey, so this is the start of a glitch called get item manipulation. So the idea is we're going to to modify the item we're going to receive from memory. In order to do this, we're doing get item delay, which is coming up very soon. Hey, there we go. So once we we're going to kill this Bravo. Pick up this mug. And we're going to go touch touch a chest, and this is going to change the nut into blue potion, which we're going to need later.
Yeah, so the game thinks I'm technically still underwater, which is why when I picked up that Deku nut, nothing actually happened, because the game's like, oh, he's still underwater. We'll wait till he surfaces, quote unquote, before the item reveals itself. But we can actually change the item in this what we call get item delay state into something else, which hopefully we can see soon. Okay, so we do another setup here. Okay. One more frame. There we go. One more. Sweet. Okay. So we basically do that trick that I just did. We do it again. So as you can see in my inventory, normally I don't pause it, but there's the blue potion, even though we don't actually technically have it yet. And then now... Oh, what the? I'm not sure what happened there, but let's try that again. Okay, this should be fine. This should work. There we go. Okay, so we're in get item delay state again, where the game hasn't surfed. The game still thinks we still haven't picked up. We're still underwater. And we do this twice because we actually need 2 items in order to finish the run. So... So if we look at my inventory now, we actually have light arrows and a blue potion. And we will need that for later, and I'll explain that in just a moment. So now we're going to go defeat Gomer. So we're just trying to make our way over to where Gomer is. Oops. I don't know what happened there. Probably a position error. But there's a way you can basically skip having to do like the mini puzzle here where you have to go like all the way around, push the block and whatnot. The game's going to allow me to have just one frame. Thank you. There we go. So we light the torch. Get rid of this guy to actually get Deku Nuts, because we actually need it for the next section. Got to be careful here, because I don't want to land too close to the land, because if I land too close to the land, I take fall damage. And as you can see, I'm on half a heart, which is not ideal. There is a quicker setup that you can do there to basically make each of them spawn successively without having to wait like I did. But for marathons, I'd rather just play it as safe as possible, just so we don't like completely wreck ourselves. Okay, so now we're going to go fight Gomer. And this is necessary because we actually need access to this blue warp later for some shenanigans. So we're going to equip the stuff that we need. So how we're going to do the Goma fight is we're basically going to stun Gomer and then also damage ourselves enough such that we die as well as Gomer dying. And the reason for that is we need to exit the Deku Tree to do some other stuff, but the stone slab is blocking us. So if we die and kill Gomer, it just puts us back up at the front of the Deku Tree. So it's called double KO because we both die. Cool. So the reason we were able to kill Gomer so quickly is because there's this thing called power crouch stabbing in Ocarina of Time where your crouch stabs have a default damage value of, let's say, 1. But if you do an attack before a crouch stab, successive crouch stabs have the same attack value as the last attack you just did. So if I did a Deku Stick Jump Slash right before the fight, Deku Stick Jump Slash, I believe, has a damage value of 4. So then every crouch stab will have an attack value of 4 up until I do another attack, which made killing Gomer there really, really easy. Otherwise, the fight could be quite annoying, to say the least. So, like I said, we need to nick off because we actually have to dump the blue potion, we'll drink it, and get bugs, because bugs are going to be important for the next part of the run. And that's the whole reason we did the get item manipulation, get item delay thing, is because we wanted this bottle. Traditionally, we used to go to Kakariko to get the bottle, collect the chickens, but then they found this way and it was a lot faster. So what I did there was called a water extended super slide. It just makes you go fast and it's just quicker. So it's probably quick. It's probably better I just say that and then explain it when I have a run sometime that's a little bit longer, because this run's quite quick, which means there's not a lot of time to explain stuff. So here we are actually just going to dump our blue potion by sculling it. We don't actually need the blue potion. We just need a bottle. When we did that Gim trick, get item manipulation, if we could have gotten bugs in a bottle with that, we wouldn't have to have done this. But alas, you know, we have to. And it
would save a ton of time.
It would save a lot of time because it means we wouldn't have to exit Deku Tree to do anything. We would just pretty much camp inside Deku Tree, do all of our shenanigans, and then, you know, be on our merry way. Okay, so now we're going to go back into Deku Tree and hopefully do some more black magic. For anyone who's watched Ocarina of Time speedruns before, I think you might know what's coming up. But for those of you who haven't, you'll be in for a bit of a treat. So again, we're back walking here because the distance is quite long. All right, here we go. Just doing a trick here to get to the area a bit quicker. Hey, there we go. Oh, boo. Never mind. That was just to get to this spot quicker. I'm going to chuck a safety save here in case I done goof. Okay, so what we're going to do here is called a wrong warp, which, for lack of a better way of explaining it, you warp to a wrong place. I'll get Aggie to explain this in just a sec as I do it. Ooh, that's an early frame. All right, we should be fine. Should be fine. I'll double check. We'll know. I did a safety save just in case. So if we done goof, yeah, we done goofed. All right, all good, all good. but I do need another set of Deku Nuts, which means I have to go back up. Okay, so with that wrong warp, what happens is, because it gives me time to explain now, normally when you step into a blue warp, the game just kind of sets you into a cutscene, and then you just go up the blue warp, go in front of the Deku Tree in this case, and he has a spiel with you. But we played a fake Ocarina using the Bottle of Bugs, which is why we needed to do it. And by playing the fake Ocarina, it allows us to cancel the blue warp taking us up. And the reason that's important... That wasn't meant to happen, by the way.
That barber just hates you.
He's clipped me before when I've had to do this bit. But basically, how the game determines where it's meant to take you is by how many frames the blue warp is on screen for. And with a combination of other things like where you last entered, and et cetera, et cetera. But by changing the number of frames the blue warp is on screen for, combined with some other shenanigans like... Oh gosh, not again, not again! We're good. Combined with some other shenanigans like, you know, how many, like where we last entered and stuff, we can change where the game thinks it's meant to take us. Because it's all like, you know, for lack of a better word, it's all just math doing calculations underneath. Yeah. So that's effectively what's going on here. And 3 possible scenarios can happen. You can either get what's called an early frame, which is what I got, where not enough frames of the blue warp advance, so the game doesn't take us anywhere. You can either go late, which is bad, or you get what you want. Okay, that looks a bit better. I use Link's hat as a reference there, by the way. This should be fine, I think. Yeah, I use how far Link's hat is into that blue warp to know how good we are. And if all goes well... Hey, there we go. Okay, so... Now, before what we used to do is we'd run down the tower and do some other stuff, but this trick recently got found, which I'll get Aggie to explain as I do it.
So, this is what is called a triple slash clip. So by pulling first person item, in this case, it'll be the light arrows, which is very important. At the end of the 3 slashes, Link gets pushed back, and doing this at an acute angle between the 2 walls, basically you get enough recoil to clip. It saves a lot of RNG of trying to do collapse skip with rock.
Yeah, so before we'd have to run down the tower, wait for a rock, and then slide our merry way down. But when that triple slash clip got found, it was like, okay, this changes everything. Some people think it makes the run less exciting. I personally prefer it because I am not a risky type of runner. I play things quite safe, so if something can make something a bit safer, I'm all for it. So yeah, as Aggie said, the triple slash clip basically, you do 3 slashes and then you pull a first person item and then Link gets kind of pushed back a certain distance. But by doing it against the stairs and the wall there, we're able to get enough speed such that when we go backwards, the stairs don't detect that we've gone up the stairs. It just thinks it's like a solid piece of wall, and then we clip through because it forms an acute angle, as Aggie said. So at the end of the game, so that's that. And the reason we needed light arrows is because I did another trick there called equip swap, where when you switch between the map screen and the item screen, there's 1 frame where Link can equip any item possible. And so by equipping light arrows as Child Link, it behaves as a slingshot, which is a first-person item, because if you remember playing this game as casually, when you pull out a slingshot, it goes into first-person mode. So that just happened to work out perfectly. The alternative is if we couldn't manipulate our light arrows into our inventory, we could have just gone up in Deku Tree and got the slingshot legitimately. But they timed it to be a little bit slower than doing that crazy item manipulation shenanigan. So yeah, there's a culmination of a lot of glitches in this run. That collapse skip that I did there was actually relatively new. I wasn't going to submit this category for PAX, believe it or not, but then when that trick got found and someone DM'd it to me on Discord, I was like, I have to try this. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. And then I was like, all right, let's de-rust. And then ironically, this category got selected for PAX. I was like, well, let's do it. Okay, so now the Ganon fight. This is actually a little bit scary because Ganon does 4 hearts. So 1/4 hearts. I've got 3, so 3 minus 4 is -1, so I die. We jump slash into the cutscene with the Deku Stick because the game doesn't think you have Deku Stick at this point because you're meant to be Adult Link. so they never coded a damage value, so they gave it full Master Sword damage, so whoopee. Now, you can't actually finish this fight unless you do the final slash with the Master Sword, but we don't have the Master Sword because we skipped all that adult stuff, right? But coincidentally, when Ganon does this animation, he conveniently knocks the Master Sword out of our hand, which we pick up in the second phase to do the final slash. So if that didn't happen, we couldn't finish this run doing what we just did. So sheer dumb luck, as they say, you know?
Yeah, the game was like, oh yeah, you know what? Just have the Master Sword.
Okay, so I did something called Infinite Sword Glitch there, which just makes your weapon active for every possible frame. And that's good because we just hold a stick and run under Ganon's legs because Child Link is short enough. So that's phase 1, and then phase 2, we pick up the Master Sword that we never had in the first place, oddly enough. And it just looks like a Kikiri sword in Link's hands because, you know, he's small. Okay. Okay, good. We got those ISGs. That's actually the most scary part of this run, getting those ISGs, the Infinite Sword Glitch. Alright, time should be coming up real soon. And, yeah. I'll let you know when time's Benj. Oh, we're underestimate, yes. Alright, and then we just deliver the final slash against Ganon. And that's a really, really short Ocarina of Time speedrun. There are longer categories. This is probably the most popularly run one because it's quite a low barrier of entry despite all the shenanigans and time. Thanks, Ags.
Good run.
Thanks, Benj.
No worries. 21:38, by the way.
My PB is a 14:48, so yeah.
For marathon, you watch the opening cutscene.
Yeah, so that's without the opening cutscene, so yeah. So yeah, that's Ocarina of Time. Shoutouts to ASM and PAX for letting me do another run this year. If you want to get into OOT speedrunning yourself, we are on Discord, just OOT speedrunning, so just come check us out. Or you can come find me on Twitch at MikamiHero. I'm more than happy to answer questions. I promise I won't bite despite how serious I might look when I do runs. Yeah, thanks again, Ags and Benj, for helping me out. And enjoy the rest of the PAX, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that was one fan. Look.